Page 50. Okay, I read it.
They're asking you significant questions about that safe, correct?
You could say so.
And you're telling them in no uncertain terms that Danielle wouldn't have gone in there because she doesn't know the combination. Not that you wrote it down for her, so she must have opened it, but she doesn't know the combination.
It doesn't say that on this page, Mr. Sir.
It doesn't say that?
No, I don't see that. I see at the bottom, if you want me to read it.
Read the last line out loud.
I told her before, but I don't think she knows it off the top of her head.
Okay. Do you think you said anywhere that I wrote it down for her?
It doesn't look that I told them that.
Right. And the whole purpose of the discussion in this area is to determine the nature of the safe being opened or closed and whether Danielle or someone else had access to it, correct?
Yes.
And then we go back to how we started this whole thing with when you brought up the issue of the safe being open. That was right in the middle of you saying, I put the gun on my thigh, it went off, and I was like, what the fuck? Oh, I forgot to tell you something, Detective. The safe was open. That 47 through 50, that's when you thought of that, correct?
Correct.
In the middle of explaining the gun firing and killing your wife, and that's early in the interview, so this is about an hour or so after the interview, you said you slammed it or hit it on your thigh. It accidentally went off, you think. You don't know because your finger wasn't on the trigger. And as you're explaining in sequential order, before getting to the next step, which was then I looked over and I saw my wife, you interrupt yourself and you said, oh, I forgot to tell you something. The safe was open earlier. Not only was the safe open, I said to Danielle, who's been over here? Right?
I know I said that to the detectives, sir, but I did not actually say that to Danielle.
That's what you said to the detectives at that point in time.
Yes,
correct?
it is.
That's what went through your mind when you were telling them what happened. Who's been over here, you asked Danielle. Correct?
That is what I said to the detectives.
And you went on. Who's been messing with my stuff? Correct?
That is what I told the detectives.
And you said, somebody has. And so I went through that safe. I went through all my 14 firearms in the safe, correct?
I have not read that, so I can't say that.
Read it again. You didn't use the term 14. You used all my firearms. Should we find it for you?
Yes, sir, because
Okay.
that's not part of what I read.
All right. Okay, look to page 49.
Okay.
You're still in this interrupted stage of telling the detective what happened. You say, I vividly remember locking it, but at the moment, I was just such, well, I guess I messed up or something, or maybe she unlocked it and didn't remember, or I don't know. So I didn't think too much of it because everything was still in there. There was nothing missing, nothing was loaded. It was all in the same place. So yeah, so I closed it and locked it. How do you know everything was unloaded if you didn't check?
Can I have time to read that, sir?
Sure.
Okay, I see what you're looking at.
All right, have you read it?
Yes, I have, sir.
So you told the detectives, not only was it unlocked in a different state than when you had left to go to Yakima 19 days earlier, but you also made sure that everything was in the same place and the weapons were unloaded.
I didn't actually inspect the weapons, sir.
How would you know they're unloaded?
I didn't check to see if they were unloaded, sir.
Well, did you tell the detectives precisely this? There was nothing missing, nothing was loaded?
It appears that way, yes, sir.
Okay. And how could you know that, to tell the detectives if you didn't check them?
I'm not sure, sir.
Well, do you presume guns are loaded or unloaded, Mr. Nemetz?
If they're outside my safe, well, it depends.
It depends. What's the number one rule of gun safety?
A weapon is always loaded, sir.
Okay, so do you presume weapons are loaded or unloaded, Mr. Nemetz?
Can you be more specific as to when?
I can't. Is there a qualification to that? Is it presume all weapons are loaded except?
If I'm handed a weapon, I would presume that it was loaded. But if I'm picking up my weapon that I was the last person to touch, I would presume that it was in the same state that I left it, sir.
Okay, so let's talk about that for a second.
Okay.
You go to Yakima, you say you leave your wife a weapon that she's never fired, correct?
That's correct.
You left that weapon with the bolt forward and on fire, correct?
From what I can remember, sir.
From what you can remember, that's what you told the detectives as well.
I understand that's what I told the detectives, sir.
Okay, would you be lying to the detectives?
No, I wasn't lying to the detectives. I was just trying to figure it out for myself at the time.
Okay, we can actually go farther than that, Mr. Nemetz. Would you ever leave a weapon in your home in any condition other than bolt forward, on fire, unloaded?
Well, sir, that was the only weapon with a bolt like that.
Didn't answer my question.
Can you ask it again then, please,
Would
sir?
you ever leave any weapon in a condition that somebody could pick it up and shoot it and kill somebody?
No, I wouldn't, sir.
Okay, you'd leave it safe, wouldn't you?
Yes, sir.
And you'd leave it safe for your wife, wouldn't you?
Yes, I would, sir.
And you, in fact, said that to the detective in detail, correct?
Can we refer to a page, please, sir?
No, just answer the question. Did you or did you not tell the detectives in detail that you cleared that weapon, left it in a condition where it couldn't be fired, left the magazines away from the magazine well for her safety?
Sir, I don't know what you're I know you're referring to this, but I can't remember all of this off the top of my head, sir.
Mr. Nemetz, your charge was murder in the first degree, and you're claiming that it was an accident, correct?
That is
The
correct.
central issue to whether it's an accident or not will of course be the condition of the weapon at the time that you found it, and it went off, correct?
Correct.
And in order to explain to detectives who were there for one reason only, and that's to ask questions and find out what happened, logically they would be talking to you about your claim that it was an accident, correct?
Yes, sir.
And so in explaining that to them, you would tell them in detail, here's what happened. I didn't intentionally kill my wife, it was an accident, right?
Well, at the time when I was talking to the detectives, I was trying to figure out what I was trying to figure out what just happened. I wasn't sure what had just happened, sir.
Okay, and let's take it away from that situation and go back to square one. You would never leave a weapon in a condition that it should be capable of being fired, correct?
Can you be more specific as to where?
You know what? I'm just going to get more specific
Sure.
entirely to the things
Okay.
that you said, okay? You indicated that you don't remember putting it on fire, right?
That's correct.
That's the first time you've ever told anybody that, correct?
Well, this is my testimony, sir.
Okay, let's look at the transcript. Look to page 30. We'll get real specific. Okay? Look halfway down. Read that?
Not yet, sir.
Mr. Nemetz, have you read it?
Yes, sir. I just read it.
Okay. But this time I put the weapon on fire before I charging, to make sure the chamber was clear. Why I put it on fire, or just, I don't know if fucking like hit, if it hit my leg, or like if I hit it with my finger. Did you tell the detectives on that page, as represented by your interview, that you put it on fire?
It says that on this page, yes,
Did you
sir.
tell the detectives that you put it on fire?
I do not recall that, but it says it right here that I did, sir.
Don't recall.
No.
Okay? And while we're there on that page, you indicated that you shot a BB gun for the first time when you were 4, not a firearm?
Yeah, it was a BB gun, not a firearm,
So
sir.
what'd you tell the detectives? You've read the rest of that page, correct?
Well, I refer to it as a weapon, not a firearm, sir.
I've been shooting weapons since I shot my first weapon when I was 4 years old. I've shot firearms my entire life. I've been hunting my entire life. Correct? Right?
Yes, that's correct, sir.
Okay, let's go to page 31. Excuse me. Let's go to page 36.
Okay.
Okay? Read that page to yourself.
Okay.
Right? On that page, you're talking again about whether you put it on fire, correct? Is that
Yes,
correct?
yes, sir.
And you say, oh, I'm sure it's some, today I turned in 3 different M4s in the arms room when I got back to Yakima. And I remember that I probably, because when the bolt's forward, but the weapon is already charged, you can switch the weapon from safe to fire, okay? And you say, yeah, I don't know why I did it this time. Right?
That's what it says on here, yes, sir.
But you don't remember saying that either?
No, sir.
Okay, let's go to page 38.
Okay.
Actually, that may be a mistake.
Okay, I've read it.
And I may have gotten you to read a page that I marked down. Let's go to 47. It's the page that we started talking about. Okay.
One second,
You
please.
started a specific place. You read yourself 3 pages. Remember?
Yes, I do.
And I had you start, so I it's like a 30-round magazine, I think. I take it out of the bird cage and I put the weapon on fire. Correct? Read that accurately?
Is it right after it's probably still clear? That's where it starts. So
Yes, right after that.
okay. Okay, I've read that, sir.
Okay. Go to page 60.
Okay.
Actually, I'm sorry, that's a different word. I'm so confused. Okay, page 93, I'm sorry.
Okay, 93. Yes.
Okay. That bottom large injury. Hear that?
Not yet, sir. Okay.
Same issue, right?
Is that a question, sir?
Well, you just read. Okay, I took the fucking magazine out. I put the weapon on fire and I pulled the trigger. Right?
Yes, that's what I said in this, sir.
So, you don't remember any of this?
The interrogation, sir?
No. Putting it on fire, Mr. Nemetz. You just went through an entire...
Yes, sir. I do not remember switching it from safe to fire.
Okay, that would be significant, wouldn't it?
It would be, sir.
Why?
I'm not sure, sir.
Well, why would it be significant to pick up a firearm in an apartment where not only your wife is, but other people, 2 dogs, and to switch that AR-15 semi-automatic assault rifle from safe to fire? Why would that be significant?
I'm not sure what... I understand the question, sir, but I don't understand at the same time.
Mr. Nemetz, if that particular weapon, not a weapon in general, the one that we're talking about that killed your wife, the bullet that came out of that weapon, if the bolt was forward and it was in the fire position, could you put it in safe?
Could I put it on safe?
Correct.
Only if the weapon was charged, sir.
Only if it was charged. What does it mean if it's charged?
That means that the bolt's been pulled to the rear and the hammer is cocked back.
And what would happen if you pulled the trigger if it was on fire in that condition?
The weapon would fire.
Okay. When is the only time that you can put that weapon on safe?
When it's been charged, sir.
Correct. When it's ready to fire. Correct?
Yes, that is correct.
And you told these detectives that when you left your wife, again, you left it bolt forward in a safe condition on fire. Right?
That is correct, sir.
And when you got back, you actually modified that weapon, didn't you? So that there's a safety selector on both sides of the weapon.
Yes, that is correct.
And so you don't have to turn it one way or the other. You didn't mistakenly see that it was, or not see that it was on safe because you were holding it with the ejector device down. You can actually see on both sides whether it's on safe or fire, correct?
Yes, the safety selector switches on both sides of the weapon.
Okay, so you absolutely, before pulling that trigger, would have known whether that weapon was on safe or fire, correct?
I would have known, yes.
Okay. Would you ever, Mr. Nemetz, in any circumstance, determine whether a gun is loaded or not by pulling the trigger?
I don't believe I would.
Okay. And if you got back from Yakima, saw that the weapon you left for your wife was in a completely different condition and was capable of firing a projectile, and it wasn't before, and the safe was open, and you had a discussion, I'll call it, with her about who's been messing with my weapons. And by the way, these would be the weapons, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay, show me where there are documents and valuables in that photograph. Anything other than weapons.
Underneath that pelt. It's
What's
hid
that?
underneath the pelt. There's paperwork, birth certificates, social security cards underneath the pelt on top of the safe.
On top of the safe.
Yeah, and then sometimes I would put them in a small box that would be on the top right where you wouldn't be able to see right now. That would say gun fund, sir.
Okay, Mr. Nemetz, you check me. Tell me if I'm Didn't you just tell the jury that your wife may have been in that safe, going in and out of that safe, because that's where she keeps and you keep valuables, including personal documents?
Yes, sometimes she would put things in there and she would go retrieve them on her own.
Okay, and now you're saying they're underneath the belt on top of the safe.
Yes, they could be there, sir. They're not always in there, sir. She may have pulled them out. I don't know where they're there at that time.
Mr. Nemetz, see all those weapons in there?
Yes, I do, sir.
Okay, when you came back from Yakima, the safe was open, right?
Yes, sir.
And it wasn't open before.
That's what I remember, sir.
And it caused you concern.
I don't think it caused me concern, sir.
It did.
No.
Okay? There are 2 magazines. And we talked about, when you talk about this particular firearm that she's never fired as being the one you left for her safety.
Well, she had fired the same type of weapon, but not that exact weapon.
I ask you again, you left a weapon she had never fired before for her safety. That's what you
Well,
said.
it was her decision to keep it as safety. She wanted the weapon for safety.
So you retrieved it for her.
And I retrieved the weapon for her, yes.
And you gave her 2 magazines.
Yes, there was 2 magazines.
And what was she to defend herself from? What was in your mind that she was so concerned about that she needed an AR-15 with 70 rounds of ammunition?
I'm not sure, sir. Maybe she wanted to go target shooting also while I was gone.
Well, she told you she wanted it, so what'd she tell you?
She just told me that she wanted it.
Okay, so you got her that weapon, you got her a clip, a magazine that contains 30 rounds, and another one that contains 40 rounds for her safety.
That is what she wanted, sir.
That's what you did.
And I did what she asked.
And you made sure that it wasn't loaded, and it was put in a closet behind some clothing.
I took it directly out of the safe while it was unloaded, and my wife put it in the closet.
Behind some clothing.
I'm not sure where she put it in the closet exactly, but I think it was on her side.
So let's imagine what a person might need a weapon for in a situation where they're alone with their husband gone. I would suspect, and would you agree with me, that home invasion is probably the only thing.
Your Honor, I'm going to object on relevancy grounds.
No related protection. What is she seeking protection from? An invader, correct?
Most likely.
Okay, so an invader comes in the middle of the night, and you've left your wife with a weapon that she's never shot before. The ammunition's not near, and it's unloaded, and it's in a closet, and it's behind clothing. And yet, in this locker, how many handguns do you have?
5, sir.
5 or 6?
5, sir. I own 5 handguns, sir.
And, okay, are there 6 in there, though?
There's 6 handguns in
All
there,
right,
sir.
that's kind of what I meant, Mr. Nemetz. How many handguns are in your safe?
6 handguns, sir.
And any one of those would probably fit beside the bed in the drawer, correct?
Danielle cannot fire a handgun, sir.
Well, so the object would be then, if an invader came in, she'd get up, she'd go to the closet, she'd pull the weapon out, she'd load it with a magazine, she'd charge it, and then she'd be ready.
I don't know what her tactics would be.
Something else you said is, on direct, is you never saw it in the closet.
When, sir?
This morning. You said you were in the living room. She went to the back room, and she got the weapon
Yes.
and brought it into the spare room and put it by the bed.
Yes.
And you never said anything about her retrieving it from the closet.
I'm a bit confused from your question, sir.
Mr. Nemetz, why didn't you say, consistent with what you told the detectives, that you saw it in the closet when you got back from Yakima?
I did not see it in the closet when I got back from Yakima.
Why did you tell the detectives that?
I think I was trying to figure it out for myself at the time, sir.
Mr. Nemetz, that weapon was never in the closet, was it?
It was in the closet, sir.
You got back from Yakima, you saw that your safe was open. You saw that Danielle had taken that blue weapon, that AR-15, and talked to Carrie Foss about it, and said, here's my protection, which is a loaded AR-15, which would make sense. Then she left it in there, And that's where you saw it at the same time that you saw the safe was open. Correct?
Can you please clarify, sir? I'm a bit confused as to what you're asking.
Okay, I'll start over, Mr. Nemetz. You found that weapon at the same time that you found the safe open in the spare bedroom.
No, that is incorrect, sir.
That is incorrect. You had every reason to suspect that that weapon might be loaded, correct?
Just as any other weapon, yes, sir.
And you know, absolutely, that before pulling a trigger, you should look to see if the gun is unloaded, right?
Yes, sir.
No issue. You know that it's dangerous to point a weapon at anyone and pull the trigger, whether it's loaded or not, correct?
Yes, sir.
And you also know that firearms are what's called inherently dangerous, meaning you got to be careful because they're so powerful. They're so deadly. You know that.
Yes, sir.
Correct? In fact, you, as we read, have been firing firearms all your life.
Not all my life, sir.
Isn't that what you told the detective?
I believe that's what I told the detectives, yes.
You told this jury that today, that the first time you ever, as I understood it, fired a rifle type was when you were 14.
No, 11, sir, actually.
11. Did you
Yes.
say 14 this morning?
No, the record should reflect that it was 11 years
Okay,
old,
what
sir.
kind of weapon?
When I was 11 years old, I fired a bolt-action rifle.
Why would you tell the detectives that you fired and possessed a AR-15 when you were 11?
I don't know why I would have said that, sir.
Well-
It wasn't until age, or I was 14, a week before I turned 15.
Let's turn to page 35.
Okay.
You were a little more detailed than just actually saying that. Read the middle paragraph to yourself.
Okay.
Read that.
The middle section, right? The two big parts?
Right, the part that says, I got first AR type rifle. It was an M16 semi-automatic when I was 11 years old. I've been clearing since then.
I just read that, sir, yes.
That's what you told the detective.
It seems that that's what I did tell the detectives, yes.
Why would you tell the detectives these things that aren't true?
Sir, my mind was in a complete jumble, and I was trying to figure everything out myself. I could barely remember my name half the time.
You also told the detective that you shoot on weekends, correct?
Occasionally.
And in fact, on that point, you told the detective that you and Danielle, had planned on going to Morton that weekend to shoot, correct?
Can you refer to something, sir, because I don't recall that?
All right, I will. On page 9.
Okay.
There?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Read it to yourself, please. Specifically toward the bottom.
Okay.
Read that?
Yes, I did.
Said you were going to Morton with Danny and you were all excited about it, correct?
Yes.
Wasn't true, was it?
What wasn't true?
That you were going to Morton and had plans to go to Morton with Danny.
I did have plans to go to Morton and bring Danielle.
That weekend?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Why did you text the night before in the same conversation, in fact, the same text entry that you said that you had spent $180 on floor mats for your truck? But oh, by the way, Danny, I'm going hunting with my buddies on Sunday, and I think I'm going Saturday too.
That is what I said, sir.
Which is true, Mr. Nemetz.
Which one of those is true?
Correct.
Well,
Can't both be true, can they?
no, but I would have liked my wife to go hunting with me.
That's not what you told the detective.
No, that isn't what I told the
You
detective,
told the
sir.
detective you were planning on going hunting in Morton with her. And that wasn't true, was it?
I wouldn't say it wasn't true, sir.
Well, if you're going with your buddies and you're not taking your wife, wouldn't that be untrue?
I never specifically said I wasn't going to take my wife with me.
So the point of telling your wife, by the way, I'm going hunting with my buddies Sunday and Saturday, and she says that's okay because I have to work, incorporates your idea that she's coming with you. Is that right?
Maybe I thought there was a possibility she could end up going with me.
Okay. And on the issue of the $180 floor mats for your truck, now 2-3 weeks before that, your wife had just gotten a new job. She got the job about 4 or 5 weeks before, correct?
I don't know exactly when, sir. I believe it was like a week before I left to Yakima, sir.
Right, and it's a good job she got.
Yes, it was.
She doesn't even have a high school degree, correct?
She had a high school diploma.
Well, she got it by GED. She graduated Clover Park.
Yes, she graduated at Clover Park, yes.
Okay, so she's got a high school degree. You start telling her, Danny, why don't you get your own job? Quit spending my money, right?
I don't believe I said it like that, sir.
Is that what the text messages say?
I believe it was more of we were struggling for money, and for her to get a job, I wanted her to get a job badly because I was having a lot of trouble keeping the both of us afloat.
Didn't you say my money?
I may have said my money in one of the text messages.
And didn't you also say you threatened to cut her credit card out because she had gone on to Amazon Prime and inadvertently signed up for Amazon Prime, not realizing that they would charge her right away. So once she did understand that, she immediately contacted them and said, never mind. Correct?
That did occur, sir.
And then you scolded her and said some pretty derogatory things to her and said you were going to cut her card out. Right?
That's what the text messages say, yes, sir.
Well, who texted Mr. Nemetz? Someone other than you?
No, sir.
Okay, so that's what you said via text message, correct?
Yes, sir.
And then she asked for $30 after she'd gotten this new job, and you scolded her, don't waste our money on clothing and makeup, Danny.
I don't believe she had a job at that time, sir.
I thought she got it a week before you left. Was this text message before then?
It may have been. Her first encounter with Granite Transformations was the weekend that I had left to go to Yakima. She attended the Everett show. And
Your Honor, I'm going to ask that if the state is going to ask Mr. Nemetz questions about things that are written, that they provide a copy and allow him to read it. They're going to ask him about timelines. Allow him to read it.
If the witness needs documentation to refresh this recollection, because he is otherwise unable to answer the question, then he may solicit that from the inquiring party.
thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Nemetz, by the way, how did you order floor mats for your car while you were in Yakima?
I believe I ordered them a day or two before that we came back, when we were actually in the cantonment area and I had service there.
Okay. Did you discuss that with your wife?
Did I discuss that I had bought floor mats with my wife?
Right. Before you bought it?
I believe I told her about it before I went to Yakima, and then when I purchased it, I had told her that I had purchased them.
Okay. Now I want to get back to another issue that I left off. In the issue of your knowledge of guns, you actually build AR-15s.
To a certain extent, sir.
To a certain extent. Did you tell the detectives that in the closet, in the spare bedroom, they find a box with parts to build AR-15s?
Yes, there are old parts that I had accumulated over a long period of time.
So you do build AR-15s, correct?
I built one, but I only partially built it.
You described Danny's as one that you built.
Well, A bill, I would say, altered.
Okay. You have that ability, let's agree to that.
Yes, sir.
Okay. You had 15 firearms in this two-bedroom apartment, correct?
I don't remember the exact number.
You had firearm parts for those weapons in the apartment.
For some of them, yes, there were some parts.
You had a cell phone with a file on the phone labeled weapons, and you had 405 different media on there with firearms, videos of firearms, firearms that you personally possess, firearms that you got from the internet that you were interested in. Correct?
I know that folder exists, yes, sir.
You shoot on weekends, obviously. Talked about that. You have a dog named Ruger. Who's a Ruger?
Ruger's my hound dog.
What is the name Ruger?
The name is Ruger.
A Ruger is a manufacturer of a firearm, a well-known manufacturer of a firearm, correct?
Yes, the name Ruger is.
And that's why you named your dog Ruger, correct?
No, not exactly, no.
Not exactly, just sort of.
No, I had a friend actually that had a small dog named Ruger, and very cute dog, and I just liked that name, and I used it for my dog.
You're a gunner on a striker team, correct?
For I think the second half of my military career I was.
In the United States Army, which you've been in for 2 years, the second half of your career would be a year,
Yes, the last half of it.
and you're trained on M4s, which are very similar to AR-15s in the military, correct?
Yes, to an extent.
To an extent, you cleared them all from your group when you got back from Yakima, right?
I can't say that from memory, sir.
You read the transcript and you can't remember that either.
I know that it's written here, sir, but I don't remember physically doing that day.
Okay, but you do remember Mr. Foss not being there.
Yes, I do remember that.
And you remember that and Mr. Oakley after the jury was sealed.
Can you ask that in a different way, sir?
Going back to another issue, Mr. Oakley, you first remember that he was in the car with you and could testify that Mr. Foss wasn't there. Back to that issue of what you got when you were first arraigned, January 20-something of this year, correct?
Yes, sir. Throughout the last year, it's
Is that
taken me
yes?
a long time to figure out what overtime, things come back to me very slowly.
Your Honor, I'm going to object. First, it misstates the facts, and it's assuming facts on evidence. The statement to which the state refers does not mention Foss at the truck. And he is now trying to say that it says he is not.
I don't recall the specific testimony or the exact words in that document, so I'm just going to invite you to ask another question to clarify that if appropriate. Or conversely, I'll invite Mr. Stewart to clarify that in redirect.
All right, and I believe the witness answered the question. So, to the extent, I'll just kind of move on.
Yes.
Okay. You have ammunition displayed throughout this apartment, correct?
Yes, all dummy rounds, sir.
Why?
Because I've accumulated them, they didn't actually fire most of them.
Okay. I'm putting up plaintiff's 9, picture 25. What's a gun for?
Well, it said that because I made that as a child, or when I was younger, and from a small cigar box. But actually the contents in it was my social security cards, and same with Danielle's, and I think we had 2 of our old phones in there.
Mr. Nemetz, behind that gun fund box was a photograph. Who's in that photograph?
That's me, sir.
Okay. And if we zoom in here, what are you doing?
I'm holding the antlers to a buck, sir.
Okay. Did that buck get hit by a car?
No, I shot that buck, sir.
How old were you?
I was, I believe, 12 years old.
Okay. About your wife, how many birthdays did you experience with your wife? So you met her a couple months before you proposed to her?
Yeah, so it was 2 birthdays, sir.
2 birthdays. you bought her an AR-15 on her first birthday?
No, her second one.
You told the detectives you didn't expect the alcohol. Recall that?
I don't recall it. Can you refer to a page?
Sure, turn to page 16.
Okay.
Okay.
Yes.
On the bottom is refresh your memory.
I'm not done yet, sir. Okay, I've read that.
You tell the detectives, yeah, that's one thing, that's when I got, I didn't expect this. When I got off, when she came and picked me up, apparently one of her friends, she asked one of her friends, she got some alcohol. I hardly drank any of it, and I remember she got some semen.
I'm going to have to read forward because you read more than what I've been able to read, sir. Okay.
Read that?
Yes, I did.
She surprised you with alcohol?
That's what I said in this, sir, in my interrogation.
Right, within an hour or so of your wife dying. 2 hours, 3 hours maybe, right?
I was in an interrogation room less than an hour after my wife had passed, sir.
Correct. But you're giving all these details that we can go on over. And one of the details that you gave was your wife got in the car, you got in the car with your wife, and she surprised you with bottles of alcohol, correct?
That's what it says on here, sir.
That's not true, is it?
No, it is true. That's what I believed at the time.
Didn't you have a text message discussion with her the night before where she told you she got alcohol?
Yes, we did, sir.
And didn't you have a running conversation with her via text about getting specific alcohol, bottles of alcohol?
Yes, I believe there is a couple texts about it.
Right, and so she told you the night before that she got it, right?
I don't remember the exact day, sir.
And then it was not a surprise, was it, Mr. Nemetz?
No, it was not a surprise.
But you told the detectives it was.
Yes, I guess that's what I believed at the time, sir.
Okay. You also said Danny doesn't drink, right?
Can you refer to a page, please?
Page 17.
Okay, I've read that.
Okay. But you told the detectives, right?
About Danielle, how she, in here it says,
No.
drink at all.
Let me ask the question you just read, correct?
Yes, I did, sir.
Did you tell the detectives, and I think it may carry over, if I'm not mistaken. No, it wasn't. Did she have anything to drink at all? Answer, no she didn't. She doesn't. She doesn't drink at all. Like that's her rule. She does not drink at all. She doesn't smoke, she doesn't drink.
Yes, from what I know, sir, when I was
Is that what
around...
you said, Mr. Nemetz?
That is what I said,
Okay,
sir.
now here's my next question. Why then did you talk about this morning, just before getting home, having an argument with her about the fact that she'd been drinking?
Okay, I'm confused for your question, sir. Can you please rephrase it?
Okay, I don't think it's that confusing, but let me rephrase it. You just told these detectives, like you said, within a few hours of your wife's death, when you have no reason to lie to them, correct?
No reason at all, sir.
You're discussing issues related to alcohol.
Yes.
Right? Told these detectives that your wife does not drink at all. That's her. Consummate.
When she did meet Carrie Foss, she did start to drink more frequently, and usually she wouldn't tell me, but when she did, that one of the times when I was in Yakima, I found out she was drinking alcohol.
Okay, so why does she tell the detectives she doesn't drink at all? That's her rule, no smoke, no drink.
Because that actually was her rule for a long time.
Did you qualify it in that way, Mr. Nemetz?
It doesn't look like I said it like that in here.
Talked about the fight with Mr. Foss this morning, and you said it was because he was viewing pornography, as I understand it, during a significant part of the mission. Is that accurate?
That was one reason, sir.
Well, that was just one reason.
Yes.
There were more reasons, correct?
Yes.
Including discussions about infidelity.
His infidelity, yes, sir.
Infidelity, correct? Correct?
Yes, his infidelity,
Got
sir.
you really mad.
It did not get me that mad, sir.
Really? Turn to page 42.
Okay.
You got that?
Yes, I have.
You agree with me that you said you were really ticked off?
I don't see those exact words, sir.
Remember the night you got hit in the mouth by a Tootsie, which would have been what night?
It would have been probably at least a day or two before he went back home.
Okay, when did you go back home?
It was 3 days prior to when everybody else went back.
Okay, so if that's Thursday, which is the 16th, go back about 3 days, is about Monday. A couple days before that, he gets hit with a Tootsie.
Yeah, I'd say so, sir.
All right, somewhere in that area.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember the night you got hit in the mouth by a Tootsie. Can you explain what that is? I remember that night, so like the next morning you got in a fight because, or not like a fist fight, but like an argument. Because I was ticked off. Like, how can you treat people like that? How can you treat his wife and life, etc. Correct?
Yes, that is correct. That's what it says.
And then you texted your wife and said, no more hanging out with the Fosses.
Yes, I did tell her that.
That's related to this argument, the big argument, correct?
It's related to many more things than just that argument, sir.
Okay. And Foss is also telling you that Danny's drinking with Harry.
Yes?
And then you have a fight with your wife about that.
It was not a fight, sir.
Just a discussion.
Discussion.
Okay? And Foss also tells you through Carrie that Jeremy Henry's hanging out at your apartment.
That is incorrect, sir.
That's incorrect? It surprised you to find out that not only was Jeremy Henry continuing to have contact with your wife, but that he was spending the night at your apartment while you were home?
It would surprise me, sir.
It would or it did surprise you?
I didn't know that Jeremy Henry had stayed in my house until much into this trial, actually.
Okay. Danny didn't tell you?
Or, I mean, much into the year after she had passed.
Danielle didn't tell you?
Tell me exactly what.
That Jeremy had spent the night?
No, she hadn't gotten to that.
That she continued to stay in communication with him after your argument over text message about him?
I knew they were still staying in contact, sir.
After that, how'd you know?
Because he had come over to my house before and taken her out to lunch and stuff like that before.
While you were gone, did you know?
No, while I was home.
I'm talking about while you were gone. Did you know he was spending the night at your place, teaching her math, hanging out?
No, not from my memory.
Did she tell you, because you told the detective, she told you about how she got the alcohol, correct?
I couldn't hear you. You're facing the
Sorry.
other way.
Did you recall telling the detectives that when you got in the truck, and I presume after you let Mr. Oakley off after that couple minutes to his barracks, she told you about how she got the alcohol, correct?
Yes, she told me how she got the alcohol.
And did she tell you Jeremy Henry was with her?
No, she did not.
In that regard, you trust your wife, correct?
Absolutely, sir.
And you talked in detail over and over again about that issue with the detectives, correct?
Can you refer to a page, sir?
.105. Yes, ma'am, I'm sorry.
Okay, I'm there.
Okay, bottom of the page, the biggest entry there at the bottom, read that and go over into the next page.
To the bottom of 106?
No.
Okay.
106. You read that?
Yes, I have.
Okay. You say, that as far as I know, she's never talked to another man besides me. And I am positive of that. I've even asked her before, hey, is everything okay? You know, I was gone for about a month. Hey, and you know, today I asked her, how are your coworkers? They don't hit on you or anything. She's like, oh, no way, you know. So I didn't. Why am I going to doubt? Why am I going to second guess her? And in the past, I never even thought about it. I never had an idea that maybe she was. I never thought she was, and I never think she does. And I still don't think she does. He said, okay, I don't doubt my wife, right?
Yes.
Okay, that's not accurate, is it?
No, I don't doubt my wife.
Were you doubting her about 5 weeks, 6 weeks before she died? Before you left for Yakima?
I don't doubt my wife. I doubt other men.
Mr. Nemetz, you said today you cut your finger on the weapon, correct?
Yes, that is what I believe I cut my finger on.
Why would you tell the detectives that you cut your finger on a bone fracture?
Can you refer to a page, please?
Well, do I need to? Do you recall telling the detective that?
No.
Don't recall that. Okay? Here's an exhibit I'm going to hand you.
Your Honor, I'm a little confused. If the question is, do you remember something? Is that the question?
Well,
I don't know what the question is, but the answer is we're going to take a mid-afternoon recess.
All right.
Then we'll regroup and you folks can figure out what the answer is. Question is. All right, so let's take a break, everyone. We'll be at recess for at least the next couple of minutes.